I've wanted one of these ever since it was announced back in 2015, and it got some really high praise back then from people like Emgo and Bolt, and even nowadays people still really like it, like Dr. Lockdown. And it's a really epic figure, so that just made me want it even more and more. Now, before I jump into the video, I want to talk about next week real quick. So my birthday is on Sunday. I'm going to be 24, meaning I'll probably won't be putting a video out on Monday. I'll try to get one out by Wednesday, as Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime's video is like mostly complete, but Friday I want to do Black Zarak, so I'm gonna try my hardest to just work on that and make that a really epic thing. So if you don't see any videos on, well, you won't see any videos on Monday, that's for sure, but if you don't see one on Wednesday, that's why. But DX9 kind of vanished a while back with La Hire and stuff being one of their last figures. I believe they were unique toys, or at least part of them, and when all that Wei Zhang stuff happened, they were lost too. But now that Unique Toys is back, and I have a sneaking suspicion they're under Black Mamba now, just from a few things that I've seen. Not only have they started reissuing their own figures, but also DX9s. Like Challenger, which I ordered, got reissued, the Unique Toys toy. Perukill also got reissued, which I've also ordered, and it's on its way. Carrie, this figure got reissued. La Hire, their Last Night Hot Rod, that got reissued, which I pre-ordered. Power Glide, which I'm on the fence about. And Chigur, their Astro Train, which I have also ordered. They're all getting reissued in some form, either it being knockoffs made by what I suppose is their parent company or the companies themselves. DX9 has only really made Chigur and Carrie as re-releases, and their other figures being knocked off by somebody else, who again I believe is a portion of their parent company. But I was finally able to get DX9 Carrie, and I already have problems, which is unfortunate. I want to get the biggest issue out of the way right now, because most of the video is going to be praise, but the knees suck. So the way they're assembled is strange. I've disassembled it here, and the spring presses a disc that has teeth on it that rubs against a rotating portion of the knee that also has teeth on it to create the clicks. That's how the ratchet in this particular knee works. But that disc is on a small tab that's sticking out that keeps it in place in the thigh section so that that plate doesn't rotate itself, causing the ratchet not to work. That's what keeps it stable. However, on my figure's knees, both of them, those tabs are all chewed up out of the box to the point where they will eventually break. And sure enough, the left knee has already exploded inside. However, it still clicks. Like, I heard it snap and I felt it go tunk inside when I bent the knee, but it still works. And even if the ratchets weren't there, like if they both break and stop clicking, the knees are strong enough, or can be made as such, so that he doesn't fall over. So it's not the biggest issue, but like it's still a big issue with the figure nonetheless. It's survived with one of the knee ratchets just being totaled already, but it's still a thing worth noting. I think it's a reissue problem only though, because I haven't heard of anyone who's bought it recently, like the reissue. And then for people who have had the original, I don't see anyone like make note of that in their videos of the knees. So it could just be a reissue thing, or it could just be my copy got gypped, because I always get the terrible copies. That seems to be a thing. My other small issue is the shoulders being trigger happy shoulders. And for those of you who were confused when I brought it up the last time in Soundwave's video, which you should check out by the way, that's where the hinge is in the torso and the rotation is at the shoulder, not the other way around like your average shoulder joint, which makes the shoulders a bit clunky to use. They're like Y-jointed hips. That's the best example I can give. Yes, Studio Series 86 Hot Rod has those shoulders too, and it's probably more notable than Trigger Happy, but Trigger Happy had them first. For me, in my experience, it's the more memorable standout to me, and that's why I call them Trigger Happy shoulders. But if they put a cut at the bottom of this tall-ass shoulder section, you would have been able to move the arms out more, because as it stands right now, they bump into everything, and if you rotate the shoulders forward, you cannot move the arms out at all. And I really hate when they do that to figures. It's really annoying. It's almost as annoying as gorilla arms. Those are really my only like main big issues with the robot mode, because otherwise I love this figure. I asked on Twitter whether I should get this, and friggin' Balt and Dr. Lockdown were both like, yes, in all caps, and sent me their videos. Legit, Balt was like yelling at me like, okay, yes, I get it. Are you happy now, good sir? Just kidding, please don't hurt me. I love the Studio Ox design and all the angles and the lines. They're sculpted very well. The colors are super clean, and the overall matte finish is something that I really like, and it helps those little bits of chrome and clear plastic pop even more. The slightly different red plastics are placed quite nicely to give a subtle yet pleasant form of color separation. I love how it turned out on the bot mode. Alt mode though we will get to later, that's a bit of a different story. The wings are huge. I love how pronounced the back wings are. I prefer the larger prominent wings on the back as opposed to the normal ones. And on the back of these, there's flames, which add a bit more flavor. So I love that. And yes, he has a bit of a backpack, but it's not bad at all in terms of like sticky outiness. I don't know why, but I also like that little bit of green on his belt section. It may seem random and out of place, but because his eyes are like the same color as that, they just complement the toy very well. I don't know, my eyes are they were drawn to that little green square as like, it's a nice little like color addition that they did that just like helps elevate the design a little bit more. I do wish the butt flap could tuck in a little bit more, because like one more hinge would have been nice, but it isn't super intrusive. And the heels I wish were a little longer, but he does have die-cast feet, so the base of the toy is pretty stable. He does come with a bunch of goodies in the box, and you also get this incredible box. Like, look at it. It looks amazing. I love all the quotes on the front and the back, and the art and the colors. Man, I can't wait for that Astro Train to come in. That box looks even more incredible. The art has all the 13 primes on the front and the grid on the back and stuff. Like, what happened to boxes like this? How come we don't... Like, Unique Toys Nero's box was friggin' boring. What happened to, like, you pay that much of expensive, like, price and you don't get something like this anymore? I miss that. You do get this really cool poster. I kind of want a bigger version of this now because it looks stellar. You get a bunch of Autobot sticker sheets, which I don't know if that's a TF Safari thing or a DX9 thing, but I got them. I just haven't put any on the figure. And you get this man. And this man kind of sucks. This is his Target Master, and it looks okay. Not the most imaginative robot design in my opinion, and the colors are very lacking, but hey, he turns into a sniper, so there's that. I kind of wish he had a scope, like a better scope than what he has now, and the handle for his own gun is too far down, so he can't bend his elbow or pose well in general. The head doesn't move either, and the feet are a bit annoying, but the ball joints are pretty good at getting him into some form of dynamicness. It's also not super small, all things considered, about the size of a modern core class. And neither is the actual toy. It's large. And that's where the Kingdom Rodimus comparison comes in. A lot of people debated over the price of Kingdom Rodimus, and I've seen some people bring up the argument of, well, it should have been integrated with the trailer, thus making it, you know, more complex and making it feel more worth its price to some people. This is integrated, and it's massive. If they did that with Kingdom Rodimus, then he would have been way too big in a line all about scale. He would not have fit. That and Rodimus's trailer is so long, so it demands that high price, coupled with the copious amounts of engineering, the insane articulation, the enormous amount of accessories you get, and the huge up in plastic quality with Kingdom Rodimus. It all adds up. Still not 140 Canadian dollars, because yes, they went up from 120 to 140 dollars at Toys R Us, but I'd say like 100 Canadian max for Kingdom Rodimus. But I still think it's a great figure. This, on the other hand, is worth every penny, if pennies still existed here. But overall, this robot is super awesome, and I'm really glad to finally have this thing in my collection. Now, I ordered this with Challenger, Unique Toys Challenger, who's still sitting in shipping limbo. So hopefully that comes in this week, because, you know, Sunday's my birthday, and that'd be awesome if it arrived on like Saturday. Posing is okay. Like I said, the shoulders are very annoying, and the lower arms are a bit stiff on my copy, but the lower legs would be sick if not for those knees. It's really a shame that my figure's knees just decided to quit life, but at the end of the day, they still technically work. They just aren't as satisfying to mess with. Also, his biceps can be super stiff, and I worry about like breaking them, so just be careful when, you know, handling the arms. Transformation is pretty interesting. It shell forms, but it does so in an interesting way that the actual robot becomes the bottom, front, and middle of the vehicle. So it isn't a full wraparound shell former, it at least does stuff. But the reason it does so is because the whole toy is integrated. Like I said, both the truck and the trailer are all in one robot, and that's really neat. I will say getting the wings put in place is a pain in the ass, but that's the only bit of the transformation that I don't like. The colors are really cool here too. However, those two shades of red I mentioned earlier are really weird in the vehicle mode. The color separation on them isn't as subtle, and it's not clean, like as clean as it was in the robot mode anyways. The biggest culprit is the panel on top being a lot darker of a shade of red than the rest of the toy, and it looks very out of place to me. The chrome pops even more in this mode, and the minute amount of it is really good. Like, I'm glad they didn't chrome the wheels or anything. It's just on the smokestacks, and it looks really stellar. The two things I can see people getting annoyed about this vehicle are A, the size. It's small, like it shrinks a lot. And, you know, scale nuts and things might get a little bit upset by how small this thing is in vehicle mode. And the next thing I can see potentially bothering like a small amount of people is the fact that you can't take Rodimus out of the trailer and have like the G1 toy style long truck and trailer thing. But yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. I much prefer this. I actually quite like the size of this truck. It's a little brick on wheels that hates rolling, but it looks cool. My wheels are just a little too tight, that's the only problem. The actual sculpting on the truck is not bad too, but a little plain looking in some areas, like the back. It's supposed to look like the back doors, but it feels unfinished because the lines just aren't fully there for some reason. But it feels very solid and sturdy thanks to the actually pretty strong plastics for 2015 third party. But it also does really feel like a Unique Toys figure because their plastics are identical, like almost the whole figure just feels like a Unique Toys toy. But like third party company history is confusing, so I'm like 80% sure this is a Unique Toys toy under a different name, but who knows. But the toy in the end is really nice. I'm super happy to finally have it. But the thing is it really worth 150 US dollars? Because that's a lot for this, and Chigurh is only 95 on Surtoys, so like that's a lot. You get a triple changer for 95 or this for 150. It's a lot. It's a lot to think about. And honestly, I think that's a little too expensive for something like this. I mean, I used points, a little bit of TF Safari points to help pay for this, so I don't have to pay the full 150, but it's still a lot. But it's a reissue of a figure that was highly praised back in the day and still holds up, so the asking price is going to be high. I just feel like for that price, they should have maybe included like an extra normal gun in the box, like to replace the Target Master if you wanted to. Otherwise, I think it's a definite pickup. Just watch out for those knees. After this experience, though, I am very, very much looking forward to Chigurh, Lahire, Perukil, and Challenger. Those are going to be some really fun figures, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those videos, because I will be hopefully gushing over those figures. I just hope I don't get any problems. But that's been my look at DX9. I almost called it Unique Toys. DX9 Carry. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.